So we're here today at Sam's camp. In fact, we're standing on the helipad where we arrived, and to the right here is the privy. It has to be the privy with the best view in the world. Recently there's been very, very little rain, so the river levels are very, very low. As a result, we're having to wait at the moment for the tide, which will raise the levels at least at the opening of the river, so that we can get the boat up there to the pools that we're particularly interested in. In these pools there are several species, but the ones we're interested in particular are the very, very large coho silver salmon that are making their way up to spawn. There are other fish there, rainbow trout and dolly varden, but the prime species that we're after are these large silver salmon. We're very, very fortunate to be guided on our forays up the river by Hiram Newcomer. Hiram has 40 years experience as a mountain man. He's hunted, trapped, fished and guided numerous parties for all that time in this very, very wild and sometimes hostile environment. In our trips up the river, we've become acquainted with a family of bears. There's a mother and two cubs. Cubs implies something small and cuddly. These are 2 years old and they are very, very large. And I do suspect, or Hiram tells us, that she's going to boot them out next year and go and fend for yourselves. However, at the moment they're together, and yesterday we arrived at our favourite pool, but we unfortunately had to wait for half an hour because the family of bears were enjoying themselves in our very pool. We've been informed about bear etiquette by Hiram in the fact that this is the bears' environment, not ours. And we are arriving there as guests, in effect, of the bears. So they take preference. And yesterday I was playing a good coho salmon and the bears arrived, and the trick was to stop playing the fish so that it didn't splash, because the very last thing that one wants is a splashing salmon, because it would immediately call the bear's attention and they'd be in there after it. This is a very attractive piece of water here. What would you think was the best way to go about catching? Where would you recommend?
Well, they're fishing for silvers and we're towards the end of the run. There's not a lot in here, but they lay right in that deeper water.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not against the rocks, but not in the current, just in a deeper water.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're using flies, you want to let them sink to start with, but you just keep, if one thing doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah.
Strip it, don't strip it, let it go deep, let it go shallow. Move up and down the river. Don't just stay in the same place doing the same thing over and over
Just
again.
a variety of colours, pinks, greens.
If one thing doesn't work, try something else. When there's lots of fish in here, they'll bite anything you throw in there. If there's not a lot, like now, they're getting picky. So
Pink.
you just have to, pink. Pink usually works anyway, but
Yeah.
Yep.
But we had days on the Little River where they wanted fluorescent green.
Yep.
some days they like
day's
one
different.
color. Every
Yeah.
day's different. Big
Yeah.
rivers, small rivers, You just have to try and find out what they're biting that day.
We find that the size and quality of the silvers on this particular river and these particular pools is bigger perhaps than the,
These
than
are
the little river.
these are bigger fish than some of the smaller rivers around.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Uh,
the beauty here has been that every fish you've taken has actually taken it. There's been no snags, nothing.
No
Yeah.
snags.
That's the beauty.
When
of
you're
it.
fishing in smaller streams that have a lot of fish packed in one hole, or if there's a lot of pink salmon in here, you have to fish different because you'll snag them. If you let your fly go down deep and drag it through all those fish, you're going to snag something every
Sure,
time. So
sure.
you got to let it. I like to just keep it up higher and drift
Yeah,
it over
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
The silvers will come up and hit it. Silvers don't like laying with the pink salmon. If you have a big school of pink salmon laying right here, the silvers are going to be behind it and off to the side. They're not going to be mixed in with the pink salmon. So you got to fish. But here, all the pink salmon are gone already. So it's basically all silvers in here.
But one of the nice things is you're able to fish a floating line here. Oh, well, I think we
You
fished
can-
it all the
all,
time.
Yeah.
all the time.
You can
yeah,
fish
all the
floating
time.
lines. Some of these deep holes like this, you could put some weight on to get it down, but most of the holes you
Just
can
fish
just
normally.
use,
No, but
use
with the lack of,
floating
I
line.
mean, I brought a couple of sink tips
Yeah,
just
I
in
mean-
case there was
Not
some
used
deep
them.
pool.
Yeah.
Not used them because there's not been any
Nope.
rain.
Yeah.
And you can see
The rain's
it's,
so low, the water's so low.
Yeah. And that's another reason why it's not real fast fishing right now, is because we haven't had any rain for a long, long
Sure,
time.
sure.
The water's down, the water's warm. The fish just don't bite real well in that. But there's always some that are going to.
I think we've found that when they're coming through, they seem quite receptive when they get into a pool. You know, if you catch them just as they're arriving, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
get a quick
Yeah,
take.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, the other day when we had a good day up there, that must have been a run that managed to get up there.
Yeah.
It
And
was,
they
in,
were
it was in
holding
the afternoon, which was after the high tide.
after
wasn't
the
it?
tide. And
Yeah,
they were,
after the tide came in and a new batch of fish showed up.
and they were holding there before they went up onto the next bit of rapid.
Yeah.
Some days they hold in one pond and some days they hold someplace else. So
Yeah, I mean, you said this one hadn't been that productive, but the next pool up had been very productive.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
caught fish again in here today, so
yeah, yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. Just different every day. You just gotta
Every day.
adapt.
Every day there's a bear to see.